I've talked about several games that were inspired by old school point and click adventure games, so the time is ripe to really return to the roots and check out an actual old school point and click game. And to me, nothing screams old school point and click game more than an ultra violent potty mouthed bunny and a humanoid dog wearing a suit with a zero fucks given attitude. Some people perfectly know which iconic duo I'm talking about, while others are having crickets partaking in an orgy in their mind. So, with no further ado, I give to you Sam and Max Hit the Road, a true classic. Sam and Max form the freelance police, a somewhat vigilante type of private investigators with a peculiar sense of justice. The duo attempt to solve crimes in a wacky version of Earth injected with a little dose of American cultural parody. The slightly deranged yet lovable pair originally debuted in 1987 as a comic, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm not really a comic guy, unless you count manga. And yes, I'm aware even mentioning comics and manga together in one sentence will put me on the hit list of some weeaboo Kira wannabe. But that will have to wait till the next anime convention I visit. In the later years, there was also a Sam and Max animated series, and I actually did see a few episodes of that, and, well, it was kinda meh. So back to the game. Sam and Max Hit the Road hit the store shelves in 1993, developed by LucasArts, at that time the king of adventure games. After giving birth to classics like Maniac Mansion and Monkey Island, a game based on a wacky pair of anthropomorphs surfing the arm of the law in an equally insane and at times violent world was right up their alley, and thus another timeless classic was born. While the game is a senior citizen in the realm of gaming, you certainly can't say the graphics look dated, mainly because it's a 2D adventure game and it has a very typical art direction. Same as how a comic book or a painting wouldn't be classified as dated because of its age, if that makes sense. Probably not. Sure, sometimes it's a bit rough around the edges. For example, it sometimes shows its age when depicting minor facial expressions and its dialogue boxes or fonts or whatever you'd call it. But most of the time you'll be taking in the environments which our freelance police friends inhabit and explore. If I have to describe it, I'd say amusingly, chaotically creative but still also familiar. The locations in the game are so entertaining and well made with tons of funny details, while each of them is completely different from the next one with its own theme, they still feel connected enough to share the same in-game world. Some of my personal favorites include the Cushman Brothers Carnival, the world's largest ball of twine, the World of Fish, and Mount Rushmore, Dinosaur, Tar Pit, and Bungee National Park. The last one is a real mouthful. As you might be able to tell from the names, a lot of the locations are inspired by the American roadside attractions culture, which has always fascinated me as a Belgian Grim Reaper. I've had the pleasure of exploring some myself during a visit to the US of A, but my thirst for them is far from sated. So obviously I love the game's parody take on roadside attractions. I know a big part of point-and-click adventure games is obviously the story and the gameplay, aka the puzzles, that you must solve to advance the story, and usually I double down on especially the story part. Hold up, let me be clear, the story and puzzles are good. The main plotline has Sam and Max on the lookout for a Bigfoot that disappeared from a block of ice kept at a questionable carnival. So you can bet you're in for a wacky wild goose chase. Just don't expect any mind-bending twists or deep, insightful, poetic conversations. Well, some of Max's trash-talking could be seen as poetry, I guess. The puzzles are injected with the same amount of wacky humor. As usual with these games, some puzzles are pretty logical while others are kinda out there. It's all good fun with perhaps a bit of puzzle frustration sometimes. But they are puzzles for a reason. But for me, when it comes to this game, the story and gameplay were kinda secondary. I know, very controversial. Holy cow! Let me elaborate on that with a little trip back into time. When I was still a young grasshopper, filled with hope and dreams, untouched by the dark, merciless claws of a bleak reality. And the internet also wasn't a depressing hellscape of corporate dictatorship and screeching snowflakes. Good times. I popped in that Sam & Max Hit the Road game CD-ROM and had a grand time, even though my still developing brain couldn't understand half of this foreign language used in this game, and the puzzle solving was a real disaster. I think I only managed to unlock like 3 locations or something before being completely stuck. But I still enjoyed playing this game. Why? Because I loved the wacky places, their design and all the random little things going on in the background. I liked how Sam & Max interacted in these locations with other characters and each other. It fired off all kinds of neurons and endorphins in my tiny brain back then. You could say that my mind right now is also clouded with nostalgia, and you'd probably be right, but I don't give a damn. Sam & Max is a great and funny game. It's a timeless classic like many games of its era, and has been undoubtedly a factor in the way my humor evolved growing up. I highly recommend Sam & Max Hit the Road to anyone with a healthy dose of humor and a love for the genre. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this nostalgia-filled video game review, and I'll see you guys around.
That's no head, Max. It's one damned ugly time bomb. Let's leave this criminal cesspool pronto.
Good idea, Sam. Maybe we can ditch the head somewhere while the credits are running. Mind if I drive?
Not if you don't mind me clawing at the dash and shrieking like a cheerleader.
Sam, is pronto a real word?
Goodbye, Sam and Max. I'll never forget all you've done here today.